Alrighty guys, hello and welcome back to the show. It is time to strap in, buckle up, put your big boy pants on, because today we've got a 3v3v3v3 going on. And yes, I had to count that on my hands because I had to make sure that I actually counted to 4, because you know, I'm only a caster, okay? You know, counting to 4, counting really to any number, it can be difficult to us sometimes. And yeah, I know I'm the science person as well, but I got caster brain going on right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Team 1 up in this corner, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4 is kind of how we're going to go about this in a clockwise fashion. Starting off with team number 1 up in the northern corner, we've got Stefan Amaris. Is going Aeon, opening first land. His teammates down to the south are going to be Nobik, also going Aeon first land. And we have a Lieutenant Lich, who is going Seraphim, opening first land. So 2 Aeon and a Seraphim for team number 1. Team number 2 going with a little bit more of a diverse lineup, it would seem. We have Freemp, who's going a Cybran, opening first air. Maybe he's the air player for this team. Who knows? It's a 3v3v3v3. So we have no idea how that's going to work out. Next, we've got Crofus, who's going Aeon, first and second land, third air, it would appear. And then down to the south, rounding out team 2, we have Pie Guy going UEF, opening a first land. Continuing with our southerly trajectory, we have team number 3. We have Wild Grim going UEF, opening first land, second air. In, I'm guessing, the rear position. Who knows if it's air or not. We have Nicked by Autism. Great. This video is demonetized now. Going Seraphim, opening first land. And last but not least, for team number 3, we have Ferv going first land and second air, it would appear. And then for team number 4, last but not least, where is the commander? There he is. We have Rakaram, who is going as the Cybran. And he opened first, second land, third air. Pretty standard land opening. Next, we got Strider, which is what I'm going to call him, even though it's Stridixure, who's going Cybran, first land, second air. And then last but not least, rounding out this rather large game, we have... Where is the commander? I'm missing a commander. Where did the commander go? It's probably right in front of me, isn't it? Yep, there it is. Okay. We have Cantaroller, who's going Seraphim, first land, second air. So it looks like a lot of the players for Team 1 and Team 4, as well as Team 3, seem to have kind of all 3 players focusing on land and air, at least to some extent, whereas team number 2 is kind of the odd man out, and it looks like they do have a dedicated air player right now. No land factories as of yet laid down for Freep. So dedicated air player there, grabbing up some mexes. This is a pretty big map, so 20 by 20. And I'm just going to preface this with, you know, that whole pep talk that I gave at the very beginning of the video, or putting your big boy panties on. Like, that was as much for me as it is for y'all, because there's going to be a lot to talk about in this game. And odds are that I'm going to miss a bunch of it. So, you know, comes with the territory. Matter of fact, I think the responding message under this replay ID was from somebody saying that he didn't think that casters were going to want to cast a 3v3v3 v3, I think, because the fact that the caster was going to miss stuff and only be able to cast like 50% of the game. And I looked at that and I thought, challenge accepted. You're probably right. Most likely you're correct, but you know, we're going to give it a shot anyway, because these are the games that make things fun. You know, you can go to any channel and watch like a 5v5 with all the 2K rated players going down on some Neuroxis map generator or a sentence game, but this is the crazy shit. This is the stuff that we all like. Things get a little weird. But a couple of initial bombers out, it looks like, from Lieutenant Lich. We also have a whole slew of comm upgrades happening, with actually a bunch of them just being canceled right now. So gun speed now happening for Nobik on team number 1. Gun speed and range happening for Freep there for team number 2. Bomber raid incoming. We have vulnerable engineers here. It does look like Freep is actually not focusing entirely on air and also going for land. So it looks like all of the teams are kind of doing a hybrid role between land, air, and everything else. Gonna bag himself a radar. That's a nice little kill. That interceptor hot on his tail. And that's going to be the end of that bomber. So 1 engineer and a radar. Not the best yield that you would expect out of a T1 bomber, but it's better than a sharp stick in the eye, as my dad always said. Another Tech 1 bomber, this time out from Stefan. Looks to be on a return journey from somewhere. Does have 2 kills, so I'm assuming he bagged himself a couple of engineers. So obviously the guy in the Discord channel was correct, because I got 1 bomber raid and missed the second. So that means we're at 50%. Right drone and left drone now for Pie Guy. And Wow Grim going for T2, which is interesting upgrade path. I feel like I see Tech 2 a lot less. I also feel like I've talked about that in like every game I've cast over the last couple months. So, you know, we're not going to talk about it more. Sensors now coming in for Crowfus. Another interesting upgrade decision there for the Aeon. I believe that Sensors actually locks you out of Chrono Dampener, but it does give you good visibility for the further upgraded range of the second tier for the Aeon Sniper Commander. So might be a good option there. Nobik completes his second gun upgrade just in the nick of time. Squaring off here against Strider with a vanilla commander, but several Tech 1 units in tow. It looks like Nobik is very focused on getting Strider's commander out of his face and way less focused on the Mantis that are encircling and pummeling into him. But Strider needs to be a little bit more mindful of these units. You don't want to get into a 1v1 engagement. I think he honestly... Well, he might not have been able to kill Nobik, because Nobik does have his own Tech 1 units coming in. Could have dealt a little bit more damage. But it seems that he is going to be content with just grabbing this 3-mex expansion and then calling it a day. Mantis on the other side, moving into the main base. Running a couple of different raids here. They're going to bag some engineer kills, maybe a mex or 2. Tech 1 bomber response out from Stefan. These Mantis have their sights on this Tech 2 mass extractor. One of the main advantages being shown off here of the Mantis, which is that higher move speed. Able to get into the base, especially whenever the Aeon is the defending faction. Those Aurora cannot move super quickly. And that is going to cost Nobik a mex of his own. Nobik rather unhappy though, wants to get Strider off of his lawn. Up in the north, we also have an incursion coming out of Freemp, and there is also some fighting happening down here at the bottom. But we do have Lieutenant Lich's forward manufacturing getting slightly overrun with another run by, again from Mantis. Gonna be able to bag themselves a couple of mexes here. Freemp with a fully upgraded commander is also pressuring this forward position, so this forward position is dead. Move down now to the south. Pie Guy found himself very surrounded and actually only went with 1 drone upgrade and has also gone for a gun upgrade of his own. Squaring off against Nicked by Autism, who does not have a gun upgrade. Tech 1 bomber out from Freemp, supporting a little bit, so Freemp playing multiple sides of this map at the same time, and gunships being deployed now out of Stefan to try and mitigate this push a little bit, but the mobile AA is going to make just 1 gunship not really be enough to deal with that. Down on the southern side of the map, we have our first kill. Told you I was going to miss things. If I get 6 out of the 12 commander kills, I'm going to be really happy. But Rakarim is going to be our first ejection from the game. 900 rated player. So ironically, Cantalar and Strider are probably not going to be too unhappy about that, as it means that one of them gets another base. Both of them being 14 and 1500 level players. Definitely have the skills to be able to use a second base and be able to benefit from that mass. Lieutenant Lich really struggling holding on to any semblance of map control up on the northern side of the map as well. Maybe we'll just zoom out a little bit and I'll just let you guys read things and just look at the different units that are happening instead of me shot calling. We got gun speed and range now coming in for Strider. Then big push now coming in from Ferv as well up against Cantelar. Cantelar just now having inherited that base. So we can check and see what he's going to do with it. Is going for a Tech 2 air factory, so interesting. So looks like Rakarim was going for more of a straight air strategy. Does have a Tech 3 mechs online, got another one on the way. So Cantelar throwing a lot of his mass right now into improving his economy. Which, as long as he can kind of survive this continuous push coming out of Ferv, then will be able to pay off for him in the long run. But if he can't survive that pressure and ends up losing too many of these mexes on the outside, he's going to end up in a worse position than when he started. So Ferv taking the opportunity, going super aggressive with primarily Tech 1 with a couple of Tech 2 units in there. There's a couple of Mongoose running around. T2 now on the way for Pie Guy on top of Zepham and the drone. So drone, I guess, does make sense if you're going to go for Tech 2. Increases your build power. Point defense creep, much more of a threat. Stealth now completed for Strider. Thought about going for nano repair and then canceled it. And Lieutenant Lich, I think, has gotten a little bit of a handle on what's going on up here in on the northern side of the map. Reamp taking gunship fire as well as Lieutenant Lich's commander fire. Lieutenant Lich not looking super healthy though from a comm perspective. And caught between a rock and a hard place is he's got a torpedo launcher here that is beating into him and a comm there that is ready to kill him if he sticks his head out. Lieutenant Lich down to 300 HP, 100. If that torpedo connects, he didn't get out of the water soon enough. Just barely missed it. All right, so we're 1 for 2. We're going on that 50% success rate. T2 on the way for Ferv now. Is T2 the new meta? Last time I did a cast, everybody went for nano, but maybe people are looking to build a lot more point defense in this game because it is a 3v3, v3, v3. v3. No, that's 5. That was too many. You'll also notice there are a couple of mexes in the ponds. I'm wondering if we're going to see any Navy, like UEF or Seraphim specifically, just because I'm thinking that some cruise missiles could be able to range and deny some of these mexes, but that might be a pretty heavy investment for not a ton of benefit. It's all about that cost benefit analysis and the cost of goods sold, you know, cash flow, all the business terms. Nobic once again going blow to blow with Strider's commander, except Nobic not in a good position this time. Losing out on HP. Strider does have both the stealth upgrade that's going to make him a little bit tankier, as well as the gun upgrade. Nobic getting a very fortunate rank of vet there, or rank of vet. But Nobic still not able to close the deal. Strider could have killed him there, easy. Strider showing mercy. Once again, I feel like Strider is just the most merciful chap I think I've ever seen play. Tactical missile coming in from Ferv. So that annoying UEF tactical missile. And we have gun range now coming in from Stefan. I'm sure gun speed gonna follow there pretty quickly, as he is struggling with his commander to keep control of Lieutenant Lich's abandoned base that is once again under attack, except this time from Crofus with a bunch of blazes. But you're gonna lose the Tech 2 mechs. Not the end of the world, but also not the greatest thing in the world. You know, it's kind of like you know, you get a flat tire, but you have a spare. You know, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's also not the end of the world. What is going to be way worse is losing this Tech 2 land HQ. Does Stefan have his own land HQ? No, he does not. He has gone for Tech 3 Air. So Stefan was going for kind of the more air play. That's going to mean that it's going to be a lot more difficult for him to defend here. He's going to have to get one of these other factories up to Tech 2 to replace that HQ. Which also rhymes. Look at me. Covering more than 50% of the shit and rhyming. Tactical missile getting launched. Yeah, you're damn right I saw that. Going after some mexes there for Cantalar. TMD is being set up right now. But it is not enough, not fast enough. At the rate that Irv is cranking out these missiles, he's going to lose all 5 of these mexes. Maybe not. Not quite sure what killed that one. Oh, there is a zapper right here as well. Okay. Is that a comm explosion? Damn it, it was a comm explosion. Fuck. Okay, no big. Straight too close to the sun there. I mean, Strider gave him like 2 free passes. Like, all right. I think Strider could have killed him twice. And the 3rd time Strider was like, you know what? We're done with this shit. Getting too old for this shit. I'm gonna go ahead and end your life now. Put an end to it, and that leaves Stefan as the lone survivor here for the Northern team. So, Northern team, team number 1, not looking super good. We've got a nice thing here for Stefan is with the death of his teammate, he does get another Tech 2 land HQ. But that doesn't help him a ton now that he's got Loyalists bearing down his neck. Has he updated or upgraded any of these? No, he is not. So no access to Seraphim Tech 2 tech, only access to Aeon. He's also got to deal with the rhinos that are running rampant and trampling all of the fertile grassland that is these mexes. And his color is green, so that also means that, you know, he's actually farming here. He's just farming mass. Like, plants are mass. They're made of mass. That'd be crazy lore implications if it's like, yeah, we converted, so for those of you guys who don't know, in Total Annihilation, which is what this game is based off of, the 2 main resources were metal and energy, not mass and energy. So it'd be crazy if it came out that they made this conversion to mass so that they could say that this was all green buildings that were built by plants, instead of, you know, being built with metal and fuel and other things. Although it'd be pretty wild if they used plants in a quantum reactor. That'd be, or a fusion reactor. That'd be pretty crazy. I wonder what the science is behind a quantum reactor. I know roughly the science behind a quantum computer, but trying to think how that would translate to like a reactor. I know quantum computers get really hot. A lot of them need to be cooled by liquid nitrogen. So maybe you just have a quantum computer in there and the quantum computer is the reactor that's heating water and spinning turbines. It's got to be it. Look at that, guys. I solved modern electrical problems. All right, back to the game. Instead of, you know, talking about theoretical power sources. Nice size push here coming in from Wild Grim. Gonna take out a couple of mexes as well as some TMD. Not a ton of defense there from Pie Guy. Because Pie Guy, you know, does not have the units. And Tech 3 is on the field there for Wild Grim. As far as teams, though, that are faring the best, kind of entirely depends on what happens up here in the north. Whoever gets control of this northern corner first, or another corner, is going to be the best. But right now, it looks like Team 4 and Team 2 holding relatively well. So for either Team 4 or Team 2 to completely evict Team 1 out of this game would be huge. The other thing that they could do is, from a mass perspective, Let's see just who is on top as far as mass total income. Okay, so team 3 seems to be our chip leader, which would be down here. So the other thing that team 2 and 4 could do is just decide to cease hostilities and let the single surviving member of team 1 breathe a little bit, and instead just take out the much greater threat down here at the south. Because these guys are building up a pretty hefty lead whenever it comes to overall mass totals, and in mass income, they have a lead of about 250-ish mass per second coming in over the next place, which would be team number 4. So team 4 in second here, your chip leaders down at the bottom, and you got team 2 and team 1. So yeah, there needs to be a little bit of diplomacy. Guys need to start talking to each other. They need to pull the United States and Soviet Union here and say, hey, look, we hate each other, but the Nazis are way worse, so let's just kill them. Point defense getting taken out. Tech 3 now is on the field for Pie Guy, so Pie Guy has a much better ability to deal with this little incursion here. Does have Zephamp and tactical missile launcher. Haven't really seen him get a lot of value out of tactical missile launcher. Of course, we've seen Ferv down here, which I don't know where his commander is. Oh, it's now moved. It's now moved down here. That is taking out Mex's back behind the TMD. Cantalar, however you call it. Desperately trying to get more TMD up down here. Now, this is so freaking annoying to deal with. And Ferv also has spearheads now out, able to overwhelm the Cybern Tech 2 tactical missile defense. Saw the first one go down there, so... Oh, man. Cantalar is struggling here. Never really was able to deal with kind of the increased aggression out of Ferv. Instead focused on Tech 3 mexes, of which he has, lost one of them. And has already lost this bank once. May end up losing it again. And is now going to have to be playing catch up for a while until either this Monkey Lord comes off the line or he vastly increases his Tech 3 land. He's only working off of one factory right now, which I'll tell you is not going to cut it long term. We are only 22 minutes into the game though. Still a lot of game left to be played. Point defense being thrown down. Is going to be able to deal with this push, I think. Most of these are going to be Mongoose. There are a handful of Percivals, but Bricks are going to be able to trade blows relatively well with Percivals. Bigger problem is going to be these Titans. Just does not have the amount of units nor the mobility to be able to deal with these little raids. And is going to end up losing a Tech 3 Mex that, he worked very hard for. Sending out a Whaler to try and respond. But if Ferv is paying attention to these Titans, they could probably get another Mex. And I'm guessing that those Titans also killed a TMD, so now Ferv's commander is once again launching tactical missiles into Cantarolar's base. It's going to be another Tech 3 Mex going down. Cantarolar just cannot get a break from this constant pressure coming out of Ferv. Does have a monkey, though, out. And his commander pretty far forward here in dangerous territory with this army. Monkey does have torpedoes. They're not the best torpedoes, but they are torpedoes. So I'm guessing the monkey is just going to walk into the water and try and smoke this comm out. Either that, or it's going to take on this army. Torpedo bombers in as well. There is good anti-air, though. And Ferv's commander probably not feeling too threatened right now with T2, 5 ranks of veterancy, and yeah, just gonna stop and build himself a couple of torpedo launchers. Why not? Let's get the monkey out of there. And the monkey is barely out damaging the commander's regen rate at this point. Now the monkey's got to get out of the water, and Ferv's attention now shifts to Cantalar's commander that he has forgotten on the front line. Eats a bunch of Percival fire, hanging on by the skin of his teeth, and no, he's not. The skin of his teeth was not skin at all. It was in fact enamel, and that enamel just cracked. All right, so now we've got two teams down to one player apiece. Strider, only remaining representative there for team number 4. Team 3 running away with this one so far. And Strider, I mean, Strider's even focusing on killing off the person who is not a threat at all. Like, Stefan up here could not be less threatening. Like, he's a 1K player, last on the leaderboard as far as mass goes. Yeah, he's got 3 bases and everything, but, you know, this is obviously your threat. And so now Stefan is going to be the one-man show. And unfortunately, all of his land units are redirected elsewhere. So that's going to be Stefan, or Strider, bowing out. And that's going to be our first team eliminated. So team number 4, first team to take the bench after getting knocked out in the game of dodgeball here. Coming to you live on ESPN 8, the Ocho. Shield Heavy coming in there for... Who is this again? Crocus. That's right. So many different players, and I've been focusing a lot down here for a while. But now, the Team 4 has been properly annihilated. Team 1 and 2 are at a crossroads here, okay? Team 2 could just decide we want Stefan out of this game. Steamroll him, take out this base, and, you know, take control of all the mass for themselves. I don't think that would be a great move. I think that instead there needs to be a little bit of diplomacy here, a little bit of, you know, give and take. It's all about the giving, less about the taking, and say, look, you know what, we're going to set up a truce until we deal with these guys down here at the bottom. Speaking of those guys, huge push coming in. Well, not huge push, but we got 2 chickens coming in. Couple of Ravagers set up by Pie Guy, you know, able to do some damage, but there is not enough land here, and the land that is here is not even attacking. The only things that are actually attacking are Freemp's bricks. Pie Guy just completely checked out, I guess. Several snipers now from Crofus as well. And we do have some fat boys back here, also causing a whole heap of trouble here. Pie Guy's base here is gonna die either from the chickens directly or the ion storms that they leave. Yeah, I mean, that's all of his manufacturing gone. Does still have his HQ up here, which, you know, I guess is one little saving grace. Crofus is commander there with that shield heavy also being deployed to try and stop this. We also got Wild Grim coming in now too. Yeah, so Team 3 kind of running away with this one. I hate to say it. Team 2, the new recipients of their anger. And you can see over on this side as well, Ferv also expanding out to Team 4's old base after getting rid of Strider and Cantalar, the other guy on Team 4. But this push should be dealt with relatively easily. We do have another chicken here, I think, that came up. Bright side for Team 2, there's a lot of reclaim that just got dropped in their bases, so that'll be nice. Downside is there's a fat boy standing guard over a lot of that reclaim. The monkey is just going to mutual with the chicken, which is good. Honestly, if I had to choose between eating monkey and eating chicken, I would choose eating chicken as well. So I would sacrifice a monkey for chicken. What the hell is this? Oh, this is interesting. Hi guys down here with a little tactical missile base. Apparently just building tactical missile on his commander was not enough. Also needs to build a whole base down here as well. That can be countered by, you know, a little bit of tactical missile defense out of Wild Grim. That's kind of the gambit. Although it looks like it did semi-pay off. That is a Tech 3 Mex rack. Tech 2... don't know. But it did pay off slightly. Did get a bunch of mexes at least. Some of these may have already been rebuilt as well. And that is a bidet that is now taken flight to take out the tactical missile base. One bomb nearly wipes it out. The second bomb out of Nicked by Autism is gonna, you know, take out the rest of this. Yeah, I think from here, you know, you can just leave the rest of that base. It's not a huge deal. And now the bidet is going after Crocus's army. I'm talking about the ass washer, by the way. Ass washer, bidet, you know, you guys get it. Luckily for team number 2, the ass washer is not going to be long for this world. Once again, does come with a downside. They're going to lose air. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. Stefan now under attack once again, except this time from Ferv, who has rolled up here with a whole massive amount of Percivals and tactical missile launchers. Absolutely tearing through the Tech 2 point defense there for Stefan. So yeah, everybody should now recognize the main threat for what it is, hopefully. God, there's another bidet up in the sky. I hate it when we got flying bidets. This time, air from Team 2 not going to be enough to deal with it. You need to get some SAMs up. A lot of SAMs. I'm talking name all of your kids Sam from now on. If you're going to have 3 kids, they need to be named Samuel, Sam, and Samantha. That'd be pretty funny, but also confusing. It's the kind of thing that I would tell my wife and be like, hey, you know what we should do? Have 3 kids and name them all Sam. My wife's just going to be like, you're insane. What are you talking about? Does wipe out, though, a good amount of free space. Is that his HQ? I think he lost his HQ. Yep, he lost his HQ. All right, so air now is like really in trouble for Team 2. One of their players just lost their Tech 3 HQ. Crocus still has his cranking. So we'll see if he's able to keep up with the SAM help. Oh, this is interesting. We have ARAS now getting kicked off by Nicked by Autism down at the bottom. And a YOLO under construction as well. That's a lot of big ticket items to be building at the same time. Even with 470 eco. YOLO and ARAS, that's a lot at the same time, buddy. That's a lot at the same time, my friend. Now we have massive amounts of Continentals airlifting. What look to be primarily Percivals and a couple of Spearheads and some anti-air. Things are about to get bad to worse. This is the reason why I wanted to cast this game. This kind of shit is about to get way crazier. About to get way crazier. All right, just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Have some faith. Whalers now out from Freemp, who has apparently rebuilt his HQ. I'm guessing in a safer spot, or maybe he just had those around. No, he is rebuilding it currently as we speak. Also getting some good reclaim out of that ass washer, the flying bidet that it is. Monkey Lord gonna try and stop this number of Titans and Percivals. Might be enough Percivals in this mix to take out the monkey if they all focus, but they are of course not all focusing right now. There they go, now they're focusing. I think that might be a little bit late though. We also have some miasma artillery, interesting. Running long range fire support for the Monkey Lord and some sniper bots back here, so that little incursion is going to be okay. We also have defense satellites coming online, so getting some proper Ronald Reagan Star Wars action going here. Yeah. What a cool name for like an anti-ballistic missile program. Except I guess like in this case FAF is using the satellites and they're not really anti-ballistic missile. They're more like, you know, I'm going to microwave you to death from orbit kind of thing, but Same thing, different day. Speaking of FAF, he has pretty much entirely taken over all of the mass that was previously belonging to team number 4. I'm not exactly sure what Stefan was expecting to happen here. I think maybe he's just hoping that everybody forgets about him up here in his own private Idaho. I don't know. That might be what I would be doing right now. It's just like, okay, hopefully people forget about me and then I build something big. Especially if I'm up against like, you know, I don't know, a 1500 level rating, 1500 rating player with 4 times the eco that I've got. Is that right? 4 times? Actually, no. Stefan's got 643 mass income. Where the hell is that coming from? These are all power generators and shields. Okay, so it looks like he's building RAS boys. So that must be where a good amount of it is. Oh, and there's the big thing that he's building. Under a stealth generator, getting some shielding up on it, but getting a salvation. 645 mass income. He must have all of his mexes upgraded to Tech 3. That's the only way I can see him making this much mass. Unless he's got like some mass fab farm somewhere that I'm not seeing. But doesn't look like he does. We do have tactical missiles going after Stefan's base in the middle. Guys, you got to put aside your differences. Stop launching missiles at each other and start launching them at, you know, the guys that are actually an existential threat to your existence. So because like, look at this. Okay, we got more Continentals airlifting whole squads of units in. And the Monkey Lord gonna be able to deal with it for now, but I mean, there's more on the way, yo. Like, there's quite a bit more. I mean, you're just seeing stacked Continental after stacked Continental coming off of this ferry point here, and manufacturing is gonna be amping up here. FAF already at almost 1,000 mass income per second, and that is not enough as he's getting together a mass fab farm down around those factories. Alright, so Monkey Lord getting overwhelmed. Percivals now have to contend with the Megalith. The Megalith should be able to deal with this, though. I mean, it's a matter of time, right? How's that YOLO looking for Team 3? Jesus Christ, almost done. 2.1 mass income per second for Team 3. 1.7 million in the bank. Or total mass accrued, more than both Team 2 and Team 1 put together. So, yeah, unless these guys put aside their differences, this isn't going anywhere fast. And that salvation will, ironically, not be your salvation. I don't think, at least. How's Stefan doing with... Oh, he's power stalling. He's not... Oh, power stalling with satellites above you is not good. Down at negative 3,000 power, even with the RAS boys. Those things are going straight after the power generators. Huge portion of the grid, the entire grid, just goes like up in flames, just like Texas's grid did in 2021. That was a fun little season for all of you Texans out there. We had single-digit temperatures that year. Can you guys imagine a state like Texas getting single-digit temperatures? I know a lot of you are from the north and from Europe, and that's probably like a normal thing. But man, dude, I don't even have, like, the heaviest coat that I have is a sweater, okay? Like, I don't even think I own a pair of snow pants. Like, we are not set up for this kind of thing, dude. Yeah, I think I remember I went out there and tried to start my car, and my car immediately came on with a low coolant warning. Because, like, honestly, we don't usually have to put any antifreeze, or very much antifreeze at least, in our radiators. And so this is whenever I was driving my older car, and I was much dumber and way more poor and didn't want to pay for coolant, like proper coolant. So I literally just went and filled it up with tap water, except for the antifreeze that was already in the radiator. And yeah, anyway, my radiator froze. Luckily it didn't didn't hurt anything, so that's good. Just thawed out and it was fine. But yeah. Anyway, enough about the weather. Stefan doing what he can here to make a dent. 2 GCs though going to go down in the process to Volthus. Not enough air from either team to really make a difference here. Ilshevas are now threatening, some engineers. But I mean, there's plenty of Percivals here. Like, Stefan picked probably the worst area possible to attack, because this is the main marshalling point for all of the battle units here for Ferv. So all of his Percivals and everything are going to be coming here. And then they're getting airlifted up here. So these guys are strapping on and getting buckled in. And yeah, these things look like the Continentals look like the transports from crap, I can't remember the movie. That was their first YOLO launch. Multiple other YOLO launches starting to happen. This one going after somewhere. One of them just going straight after Crofus's commander. But what's the movie with Tom Cruise and I think Emily Blunt, where Tom Cruise gets stuck living the same day over and over again? I can't remember the name of the movie, but these transports look exactly like, I feel like, the transports in that, whenever he's got like that exoskeleton and fighting the aliens and everything. So that's going to be our next comm ejection. I felt like I didn't really need to get that one, as Crofus was pretty much dead. Whenever you have a YOLO dropped on your head, that's kind of what happens to you. So Crofus's base now goes to Freemp, and I think Crofus was kind of done with this game anyway, just offering his commander up. Stefan is, dead. There's just so many of these transports moving around the map, all with full loads of Percivals and Spearheads and Titans and a bunch of other things. Ironically, the nuke here is going to be... Well, I think nukes take out friendly units. I guess we'll see here. I'm pretty sure they do. Pretty sure there is friendly fire on nuclear weapons. Yep. So Stefan actually did pretty good with that salvation. He got it to a little over halfway, which was honestly further than I thought he would. But he's going to bow out now. Oh, then down here at the south, Megalith has actually killed the Yolana. Told you I was going to miss things. I got half of the experimental kills, or game ender kills. But the Megalith also going to be able to take out that Duke. That's a nice little treat. And if it wasn't for like the massive eco lead, literally double there for team number 3, I would say that team 2 has an option to come back in this. But I mean, just talked about it a couple times, but just look at how many Continentals are just flying all around the map. There is going to be a desync. It is between a player that is disconnected and a player that is still playing. It does not affect the output of the game. Which, if there are any other casters watching, that's kind of a good way to, you know, if it's a desync between two players that are actively playing, it does fuck things up a little bit. But as far as I understand it, if it's a desync between a player that's died and a player that is still playing, it doesn't really cause any huge problems because this game's still resolved normally, as far as I could tell at least. Another Megalith, gonna run into a bunch of Volthus out of Ferv. Ferv has really been kind of a one-man army here. Not to take anything away from his teammates, his teammates have done great. They've done their jobs, but Ferv has been kind of the one, you know, driving this whole thing with just the huge logistics infrastructure he has set up with these ferry routes. Which on a 20 by 20 map makes honestly really good sense. Because Percivals do not move fast. You gotta get them ferried around everywhere. Just having them walk means that, you know, they're spending their time walking. So you have all these units playing, you know, walking simulator. This Megalith, I don't think going to be anywhere near as successful. Taking Fat Boy fire now, as well as the Voltu fire and Tech 1 Bomber fire. Yep, that's going to be it. So now we have the assault on Team 2's main bases. Now, as far as defenses go, I'd be lying to you if I said there's a lot. There's a couple of miasmas here. There's a GC that is not going to be done yet. Miasmas, though, fantastic artillery units. Mostly because of the area of effect and damage over time that their shells have. But as soon as the power grid pops, you know, these things are now vulnerable to the satellite fire. Which it looks like some of the satellite damage is getting through, some of it isn't getting through. Kind of where the shields are placed is a little bit funky. Another Megalith there out of Freemp. So, I mean, really, I think the only hope here for Team 2 is that Ferv just spreads things out so much and donates so much mass that they can reclaim their way into this game. But right now, with this number of Percivals, how many Percivals is this? Oh, and more are coming in. Fantastic. A 68 Percivals. Jesus. That is a lot of Percivals, with another 12 or so being airlifted just now. And yeah, that Megalith just evaporating under the pressure. Calm here for Pie Guy. Shouldn't be up for very long. He's trying to throw down Ravagers, and the Ravagers are ravaging as best as they possibly can, but against this number of Percivals, what can men do against such reckless hate, you know? Monkey, another Monkey, getting done by Freemp. But Freemp is now losing all of his eco and power grid to satellites. Which also, incidentally, a really good song by POD. If you guys like, you know, rap metal, Satellite, pretty solid. Good song out of the 2000s. We, my wife and I actually saw them live a couple weeks ago. We went on this whole, like, tour of bunch of live music festivals for the last couple weeks. Incidentally, that's where I've been traveling a lot, some of it for work, some of it for pleasure. But yeah, POD, great band. You guys should go check them out if you're interested in, like, technically it's called nu metal, but like Linkin Park kind of stuff would be Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit kind of stuff. You guys dig it, then yeah, go check out POD. But the game is now, I think, pretty much over. We're just waiting on, really, Freemp and Pie Guy to die here. So, Pie Guy does have a pretty beefy commander, but he's got a bunch of Titans. He's got a bunch of Percivals. More Percivals being dropped right in his face. Tech 1 bombers, just adding insult to injury. Pie guy is down. Freemp trying to go for a Tully snipe, but oh so far away. And it would appear that, okay, Freemp is just going to bow out. So, all right, very cool. Game is over. I thought it was a fun game, at least, for 3v3, v3, v3. Got it right that time. Hopefully I got more than 50% of the action, and, you know. But, yeah, if you guys liked it, leave a comment, like, subscribe, the YouTube hokey pokey. Throw some salt over your shoulder, you know, face northwest and kiss the ground. But yeah, otherwise, more from me coming in the future. Appreciate you guys sticking around if you do, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Peace.